And he's off once again to Mar-A-Lago. Tough week for you, huh, Donald? You can't handle the heat, so you're vacationing again in Mar-A-Lago. You gonna play some golf, Donald? Let's talk about the five things that you did this week, huh? I'm going to recap them right now. Number one, you tanked the stock market and the entire American economy. Number two, you falsely claimed Honda was building a new plant in Indiana to try to cover up for the fact that you tanked the stock market and the entire American economy. Number three, you flip-flopped on tariffs. Again, both Canada and Mexico stood up to you and you backed down, and now you have a new deadline for the tariffs, April 2nd, and you're super serious this time. Number four, you suggested that the stranded astronauts could fall in love. Then you flew to Florida to go golf after you sent a message to Hamas saying, Shalom Hamas, and that all hell was going to break loose if they didn't release the hostages, which you threatened to do back on February 10th, and then which you threatened to do before that on January 7th. You're all bark, no bite, Donald, and everybody knows how pathetic and weak you are, and how in any given moment you're going to change your mind. Tariffs today, tariffs tomorrow. You panic and you fold like the coward that you are. Here's a very simple graph, Donald, if you're playing along at home. You make stupid decisions. Something really bad happens. You then convince your followers that the problem is now magically solved. Then you reverse your decision, and then you rinse and then repeat. Donald, is that one not good for you? You want me to show you another graphic? Take a look at this one. Here you are saying, I'm adding tariffs. Then your supporters go, this will create jobs. Then you say, I'm removing tariffs. And then your supporters go, art of the deal. Then you say, I'm adding tariffs. Then your supporters go, this will create jobs. Then you say, I'm removing tariffs. And then your supporters go, art of the deal. Like, here is your press secretary, your propagandist, Caroline Levitt says, remember everybody, Donald Trump may be crashing the economy. He may be threatening these tariffs, imposing the tariffs, then withdrawing the tariffs when the economy is crashing, and in response to the Atlanta Federal Reserve now saying we're headed to negative 3% GDP growth in quarter one, when if Donald Trump literally did nothing, we would be at 3 to 4% actual growth in quarter one. And she goes, that's all part of the deal. That's the art of the deal. Here's your propaganda saying that. Play this clip.
But you asked why President Trump wants to make a deal. I would remind you, he's the master of the art of the deal. He is America's deal maker in chief.
And I guess they figure if she just repeats that over and over again, the MAGA people will buy it. They'll go, oh, that must be part of the art of the deal. Here she is saying it again on Hannity.
This is major news. I know everyone wants to talk about tariffs, bad, bad, bad. No, why don't people understand the president is a never-ending negotiator?
Mm-hmm. He's a never-ending negotiator. It's the art of the deal. But also, the president has proven, as he did in his first terms, that tariffs can bring good-paying jobs back here to the United States of America. They protect critical industries here at home. And President Trump is serious when he says he wants to make America the manufacturing superpower of the world. And
so utterly pathetic. But what's probably more pathetic is this scene right here of the MAGA Republican members of Congress hovering over you, casting out demons and evil spirits in the Oval Office. I can't make this up. By the way, Donald Trump's approval is absolutely tanking right now. And one of the groups where it's tanking the most, Gen Z and young voters, Trump's approval with people ages 18 to 34, it's about 70% disapproval at this time. And that's sinking very, very, very quick. At this point in time in his presidency, Trump's like the least popular of any president, basically ever, other than maybe himself during the first administration. Let me show you this right here. This is Keith Kellogg, Donald Trump's special envoy to Ukraine. Here he's speaking in front of a serious group about foreign relations. And he's asked, well, what about Donald Trump's promise that he was going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. And tell us about that, Keith Kellogg. By the way, Keith Kellogg was once a pretty proud military guy. He was someone who was taken seriously. Let me show you how Trump beclowns people like this and how, just look at this person. He's a defeated man now. Just watch this stupidity as the audience laughs at him, not with him. Here, play this clip.
No, but remember what President Trump said. He actually talked about the potential of getting territory back from the Russians. He said that. That's a public comment from him. So,
which territory?
Pardon?
Can you tell
he
us,
didn't say. It's almost like, remember the president said he was going to end the war in 24 hours. We didn't say what day.
And just to give you a flashback here, remember when Donald Trump says he was going to end the war in 24 hours? Remember when he said this? Here, play the clip.
From the night I won, and I called two people. You know who the two people are? Putin, right? You know who Putin is? And Zelensky. And I'd say, we're going to meet. We're going to meet. And I guarantee I could work that out. I guarantee. I know exactly what I'd say, by the way. I know exactly. I tell one guy this, and I tell one guy that, and I say, you better make a deal. We would have a deal made in 24 hours.
You know you're officially an adult when you care about the quality of your garbage bags. This podcast is sponsored by Rubbish. You take out the trash 8,000 times in your life. Rubbish makes the best garbage bags on the planet that make trash day way better. Now, what makes Rubbish garbage so great? A few things. First, they have a new funny saying on the bags in every box, so trash day is less painful and more enjoyable. There's a reminder at the end of each roll, so you know it's time to get more garbage bags before it's too late. And my personal favorite, they're compostable, non-toxic, and PFAS free. And they donate 10% of their bags to charity. Oh, and I almost forgot, the bags are strong, so they can handle whatever you throw in them. Now, Rubbish was founded with the goal of solving all of your garbage-related problems. They noticed that the big guys were just churning out boring, run-of-the-mill garbage bags, so they decided to make something better. Now, I love Rubbish. The funny sayings on the bags are definitely great, but what sold it for me was the emphasis on the environment. Between my wife and our newborn, we're throwing out a lot of trash, so I feel much better about how I'm getting rid of my waste using Rubbish. So you can either pay $20 a month for a streaming service that you don't watch, or pay way less than $20 a month for hilarious jokes on garbage bags. When you think about it like that, the choice is pretty easy. You deserve the best garbage bags money can buy, so Rubbish created them. Rubbish is running a 30% off sale, but you can get an extra 5% by going to rubbishhome.com and using code Meidas. That's an extra 5% off for a total of 35% off your order if you go to rubbishhome.com and use our code Meidas.
Yeah, I remember that. Here's what Donald Trump was posting yesterday morning. Based on the fact that Russia is absolutely pounding Ukraine on the battlefield right now, I'm strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions, and tariffs on Russia until a ceasefire and final settlement agreement on peace is reached. Ooh, you put it in capital letters, Donald. To Russia and Ukraine, get to the table right now before it's too late. Thank you. As our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, explains, Ukraine is pounding Russia on the battlefield. Russia is pounding civilian targets in Ukraine and infrastructure indiscriminately. Trump has made it easier for Russia to do that because of the actions he has taken. Trump promised to end the war in 24 hours, but all he does is these capital letter posts. One of the things that Donald Trump did do, though, like the coward that he is he shut off the United States giving intelligence to Ukraine about Russian attacks. This is causing Ukrainians to die as Russian drone swarms and missiles are more easily able to find their target. By the way, Maxar Technologies, one of the people who were providing GPS to the Ukrainians, they admit that this is what Trump and Pete Hegseth, the former Fox host, demanded. Maxar's statement on media reports regarding access rights to Maxar imagery. Maxar has contracts with the U.S. government and dozens of allied and partner nations around the world to provide satellite imagery and other geospatial data. Each customer makes their own decisions on how they use and share the data. One of those contracts is GEGD, the Global Enhanced Geo International Delivery Program, a U.S. government program that provides access to commercial satellite imagery that has been tasked and collected by U.S. government. The U.S. government has temporarily suspended Ukrainian accounts in GEGD. We take our contractual commitments very seriously. There is no change to the way we support our other customers, nor their programs or contracts. Maxar, you have blood on your hands too in doing this. I understand you take your contractual obligations seriously. How about you take your humanity obligations seriously, because you are causing the deaths of Ukrainians? And of course, I understand you're being ordered to do so by Donald Trump, but it is absolutely despicable. As Jay in Kyiv explains as well, none of us wanted to put this story out there, but it seems like it's happening as well. Many are saying that the United States is actually helping Russians with intelligence against Ukraine. At the same time, the United States is stopping Ukraine from getting intelligence. A suspicious pattern alarming the Ukrainian military. A Ukrainian military source believes that Russia's long-range strikes have been aimed using satellite imagery provided by U.S. companies to Russia right now. Absolutely, absolutely despicable. Let's take a look at what's going on the home front as well. The federal chairman of the Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, says inflation expectations are rising, driven by tariffs. Yesterday, there was a brutal jobs report. The jobs report came in under what the expectations were, and the report only went through February 15, so it didn't include all those government jobs that were lost as well. I think that the next jobs report is going to be absolutely devastating. We're seeing headlines like this from the New York Times. It says how President Trump inherited an economy that was, by most conventional measures, firing on all cylinders. Just weeks into Mr. Trump's term, the outlook is gloomier. Trump's policies have shaken a once solid economic outlook. Economic forecasts have deteriorated in recent weeks, reflecting the upheaval from federal layoffs, tariff moves, and immigration roundups. That's from the New York Times. Now let me show you the Wall Street Journal, right-leaning. Tariff war risks sinking the world into new Great Depression. International Chamber of Commerce warns the world economy could face a crash similar to the Great Depression of the 1930s. So right-leaning paper, Wall Street Journal, citing right-leaning group, International Chamber of Commerce. From Reuters, Trump wants to kill $52.7 billion in the semiconductor industry subsidy. And just take a look at what they're saying on Fox Business, Maria Bartiromo, saying, yep, we're heading into a recession, but it's Biden's recession. Play this clip.
That's, by the way, that's why I said earlier it would be Biden's recession. And I know the haters out there will slam me later. The other day I said something and they went nuts on me on Twitter, on X. I said, well, how come?
Then you have Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, saying, yes, you're feeling pain and suffering, but he goes, that's just detox. That's a detox period. And here Scott Bessent is as well, talking about how really Americans don't want access to cheap goods. Americans shouldn't get cheap goods. Here he is at the Economic Club of New York saying, no, Americans don't want cheap goods. Play this clip.
Could we be seeing that this economy that we inherited starting to roll a bit? Sure. And look, there's going to be a natural adjustment as we move away from public spending to private spending. The market and the economy have just become hooked. We've become addicted to this government spending, and there's going to be a detox period. There's going to be a detox period.
I think that.
I mean, these billionaires, and Scott Bessent's, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. I mean, they're so utterly disconnected from what we, the people, are experiencing. It's so utterly despicable. Let me just go to Canada for one more second. Shout out to our Canadian followers and supporters. In Canada, you have a major shift in the election polling data there. Now, the Liberal Party with the handoff from Prime Minister Trudeau to either Mark Carney as one of the people who's running, or to anybody else in the Liberal Party who's running. 41% is where the Liberal Party's polling, 5 points ahead of the Conservatives. This would be the best result for the Liberal Party since the 2000 elections. I mean, very impressive stuff right there. But while all of this is happening, where's Donald Trump? Donald Trump is back at Mar-A-Lago, hanging with the crypto bros and bragging about the money he made, rug pulling the crypto from his supporters. I think the Trump meme coin is down to what, like $12 now. I think it was at like 70 or 80 or more. But he got all the transaction fees on it, so he made a lot of money off of it. So utterly pathetic. I mean, this was someone who's not a good businessman. He's someone who's destroyed most of the businesses he's touched, and he's doing that with the economy right now. Then he runs and hides in Mar-a-Lago like the piece of trash that he is. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.